Alright, how y'all doing out there? This is Pete over at D.I.Y Auto School, and we are now ready to start doing our LS2 conversion. That's a motor transmission drivetrain conversion in our 1966 Chevelle that we see back here. Now, I explained to you that you should start out with the gas tank first, get all that hooked up. That way it's done, and then you work yourself to the front. What we're going to do today, we're going to go over all the parts necessary to hook the gas tank up, to install the gas tank, and what it takes to put the gas tank in. And then we will go through the procedures of putting the gas tank in the vehicle.
Welcome to D.I.Y Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
So we start out by getting the gas tank of choice ready for installation. Now, what we're using here is an aftermarket gas tank that's a stainless steel gas tank. Not necessary to actually do this job, but this was a custom fit gas tank and the owner decided to go with the stainless steel. What you can do is send your gas tank off and have an in-tank fuel pump put in your tank, just as well as buying a brand new tank. The owner's fuel tank was in very bad shape and needed to be replaced anyway, so he went ahead and got the aftermarket fuel tank that is designed and made specifically for this car right here, which is our 1966 Chevelle. Now, it comes with everything that you see right here, including the neck filler tube and the gas cap. It comes with the in-tank fuel pump, it comes with the straps, and then of course the tank. It does not come with the fittings, and it does not come with the fuel sending unit. So, now that we got the gas tank and it's ready for installation, let's go look at the other parts we need to hook this thing up to get fuel to the front of the car. At the time the owner had initially brought his car over for restoration, which was approximately almost 10 years ago when we started on this project, he was not looking at doing any type of modifications to the motor. He was going to put the 454 big block back in it, and of course I believe it was a turbo 400 transmission. But as the years proceeded in time, we have now decided to do what we're doing. So when he was working on his car off and on at home, in between the times that I was working on it, he went ahead and bought a factory fit fuel line from some aftermarket company and installed the fuel line into the vehicle. We have now cut most of that off. We're going to use some of the stainless steel line that's in there because there's no sense taking it all out and having to spend more money on steel braided fuel line, number 6 fuel line, when it's costing $8 a foot. So we left a lot of it in there. We're going to go ahead and use that. And we went ahead and cut the fuel line out of the car. Now, this is a 3/8 fuel line, which in conversion to AN fittings is a number 6. So if we look in this area right in here, this is basically what we're going to need to hook our fuel tank up to our car and get it all properly functionally working. Now, the only thing that we don't see in this picture is the full fuel sending unit, which I will show you later when we get ready to install it. But as far as running the fuel from the tank to the engine, this is what you need. Now, I got the piece of line that we cut off because I want to show you some special fittings in case you are deciding to do it like my friend Pete is. Now, this is called a compression fitting, all right? And what this does, this will convert a hard line into a number, I believe it's a 1/4 inch pipe thread. Once you have done that, you can go ahead and take this fitting right here, which is a 1/4 inch pipe thread, you screw it onto here, and then that turns into our number 6 fuel line, so we can go ahead and hook our fuel system up. So the fitting that we're using here is called a dual compression flare fitting. Now, I'm going to take this apart to show you what's going on, and of course this is made out of stainless steel as well. And if you look right there, you can see that that edge is beveled on that end. But when we take these out, now watch closely, okay, we got two fittings here. One is a flared fitting like this, and then we also got a compression fitting that fits on the top of that fitting, which goes just like this, all right? Do you see there? And then once you put all that together, let me put that in there because we can't lose these. So it would sit on the top of it just like this. And then we would take our cap nut and put it back on there, just like that. We're not putting that down tight, that's loose. And then once we're under the car, now I'm going to use this for an example. We take our motherfucker, get the fuck out of there, fucking bitch. Getting all stuck up and fucked off. I'm trying to show you how to do it, okay? A little Tourette's doesn't hurt nobody. So once you get your fuel line lined up and unstuck from wherever the fuck it's stuck, you're going to take your compression flared fitting, you'll slide it on there all the way in, just like that. Do you see how I did that? And then of course you would tighten this nut and this fitting together, and then once that squeezes together, it'll give it a nice airtight fitting. Before I do that though, I'm going to go ahead and put my pipe thread converter tip, we might call that, our number 6 conversion tip on here, and then we'll go ahead and install that. Very simple, very easy, and very fucking expensive. That one fitting right there, complete, just like you see it, was $16.50. That little bitch right there that you're looking at, this little adapter fitting, we'll call it, I said conversion, we're going to say adapter, from 1/4 inch to number 6, right there, all right, $7.50. So we're going to need 2 of our complete assembly conversion tips, we'll call those converter tips, which includes our compression fitting adapter and then our number 6 to 1/4 inch. We need 2 of those, one on each end of our metal line. And then we're going to need 2 of these adapters right here. Now what these adapters are, these are, if I can get this off of here, you fucking bitch! Sometimes the plastic's a little tighter than you want it to be, and they seal them on there a little too tight. Motherfucker, am I gonna have to take a wrench to that? Bitch, man. Okay, let's get that off of there, and there you go. Okay, so you're going to need 2 of these, and what these are the adapters right here. This is a 3/8, or if you have a different fuel pump, it'll be 1/4 inch, but this is 3/8 pipe to number 6. These will go into the top of our fuel tank where our fuel pump is, so we can adapt to our 90-degree number 6 AN fittings. Now, this is the situation where our fuel line comes in. So we're going to have 2 of these right here coming off of our adapters, which go into the tank just like that. Do you see what I'm doing here? And then once that's set up, then we can add our braided hose. Okay, this is the braided hose. This is a number 6, not 3/8. number 6, all right, number 6 fuel line, braided steel. We're going to add that onto our line just like that. We will run it down to our fuel pump assembly. This is a late model Chevrolet fuel pump assembly that has the return line built onto the fuel filter. The motor that we are using, the LS2, requires this fuel filter. It has 2 fuel lines. One is a return, one is a feed, and then it has the main fuel line that goes on the front side to the motor, all right? This little fucking cocksucker right here, this setup that you're looking at with all these fittings, is about $195. And then, once we run our fuel line from the metal line all the way up to the engine, this line right here is what's going to be required to hook it up. This is a special fuel line made with a special adapter fitting, basically like this fitting right here. All right? And then this will tap into our engine where the fuel line goes into the fuel injectors, and then this end right here will hook up to our number 6. Where's our hard line number 6? Right here, just like that. And then, if you look up here in the corner right here, I got a bag of miscellaneous assortment of different size number 6, everything from straight to 90, including 45s in case I need them. And then we got 2 boxes of 10-foot braided line, which is our number 6 braided fuel line. So, everything that you see here, and the cost of the tank itself, total cost involved on this situation just to use the fuel tank that we have with all the fittings and all of the adapters and blah, 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 comes to a whopping $1,675. And this is just an example that to swap out to LS2 fuel injection and to do it right, to do it professionally, costs money. This is not a fucking cheap venture, okay? This is an expensive fucking venture, and if you're not willing to do it the proper way, the professional way, the way that's gonna be durable and last a long fucking time and give you worry-free fucking situations as you're driving down the road, you need to stop watching this motherfucking video right now, go watch a fucking cartoon, go take a fucking shit, wipe your ass, and go to bed, bitch. Because this is an expensive fucking situation we're getting ready to do here that costs tons and tons of cash, that is not building a Volkswagen 1600 dual port engine for $1,000 fucking dollars. Alright, we finally got our gas tank out. Now what I did to it, if we kind of, can you come over here and help me with this? This thing weighs 6,000 pounds. I don't know why they had to make it out of stainless steel when they could have done aluminum. My opinion about this gas tank right here that we're looking at is that you really don't need stainless steel. Alright, it's a waste of money as far as I'm concerned unless you're building some show car and you got mirrors under your car at the show where your car is sitting so you can see a nice mirror finish. As far as anything else goes, I would go ahead and get the aluminum one. Why he got this one, I don't understand, but that's the way it goes. Now, what we're looking at right here is this is our in-tank fuel pump. We already know that, but what I did is I went ahead and installed my 2 adapter fittings, which is 3/8 pipe thread to number 6 A and N. And if we look right there, you can see I went ahead and used some pipe thread tape on that. And when you install the pipe thread tape, there's a certain way to put it on. When you first do it, your common sense would tell you to wrap it around clockwise, But the way you really put pipe thread tape on is you want to wrap it around counterclockwise, and that way when you screw your fitting on clockwise, the tape doesn't come off. So we went ahead and put our pipe tape on each fitting. We screwed that in very tight, and then we went ahead and added our 90-degree AN fittings, which will be hooked up to our steel braided hose. We also went ahead and wired up our fuel pump and our fuel sending unit. We installed the sending unit according to the directions. And if you look right there, when you purchase your new sending unit, get the one that is accommodated with the gauges that you are using. We will be putting Dakota digital gauges in this. So instead of buying an aftermarket unit, I went ahead and purchased the sending unit from Dakota digital gauges. That way I know that the ohm reading is going to be exactly accurately perfect for the gauges itself. If you look right here, you can see this is the easy, simple directions of how to install the sending unit into your fuel tank. Just follow that little graph right there, and you shouldn't have any problems at all. And then we were talking about wiring up the, now when I say wiring up, I went ahead and put wire leads on our sending unit over here and our fuel pump. And what I did is each individual item needs a ground wire. So I just went ahead and jumped a ground strap from one to the other, just like you see right here. And then I came off of here with the ground wire. I also color coded them to what the wire harness is going to be. And we know that the pink wire is going to be for our fuel sending unit, so I went ahead and found a piece of pink wire to do that with. And then I used a number 12 gauge red wire, copper wire for our fuel pump. I want to use a thicker wire on that, so that's a 12 gauge, or yeah, 12 gauge. And then of course we use the brown or black, whichever you have available, for our ground wire. So this is ready to install into the vehicle, but before we install our fuel tank, we have some other items we have to install first. So now that our fuel tank is ready for installation, now we do have a situation that has arisen, and the situation that has arisen is these fittings right here. You can see where the tank is flush mounted. We're hoping that these fittings are not up high enough. I think when they made this tank, they should have went down, recessed this in more so it would, you see what I'm saying? These are up a little higher. So we're hoping that those aren't going to be in the way. If they are, then we are going to have to find other means of ways to accommodate. Normally what I would do, I would use the adapter fitting. I would put a 90-degree adapter fitting, which would be a 3/8 pipe thread, over to a number 6 AN fitting, but it would be a 90-degree. And the way that this pump is set up, there's no way that you can put two of those on there at the same time, because when you turn them on, one will hit the other, and so we're going with this angle right here. What we'll do now is we'll go ahead and put the tank aside while we go ahead and install the fuel filter and the fuel line. All right, if you are still with us here, you can see that this is an extensive, detailed video set that we are showing you how to install an LS2 drivetrain into your classic muscle car. The first thing that I do, and you know, everybody does everything different, is I go ahead and put the fuel tank in first with the fuel lines. Let's get over to the fuel line situation and see what we got to do to make the fuel lines work. Now, the owner had a stainless steel factory fuel line that he installed in the car. So what we did is we cut what we needed off of that, and then we're modifying it. So this is all the fuel line that we are going to use. Now this is going to go on our right-hand frame rail over on the right side of the car. Look where my hand's going. There you go. Okay, can you see the car?
Yeah.
Okay, are you filming okay today, or?
Yes, Pete.
Well, what's the
there's
problem?
really nothing to see over there. You pointed, pointed right.
Well, we're trying to show people what's going
You're
on.
not even close to the frame
And you're not
rail.
even being a camera girl like you
You're
should
not
be.
even by the frame rail to even show them, so why even point over there? It's kind of, you know,
Alright,
stupid.
back to what we were doing.
Exactly.
The fuel filter itself, which we've already covered, will be mounted on the frame rail. Alright? We got our two lines that go in and out of the tank, and then we have one line that goes into the engine compartment. That is going to be fit on this fitting right here. Do you see that? Alright? And the way that I came to that conclusion, which we've already been over these fittings here, is that I went ahead and cut the pipe off that I needed. I've said that already. And then if you look right here, you can see here is our specialty fitting that we're going to use. And we're going to take our end. Now, you want to keep this together. Don't take those apart. You take your end just like this. You slide it in loosely till it goes all the way down. And then you're going to take an 11/16 wrench, and while you're holding the line into the fitting, you're going to go ahead and tighten that up and clamp it on there the way it's supposed to be. And I will warn you, you want these to be pretty tight because they hold a lot of fuel pressure, and we do not need any leaks of fuel whatsoever. So don't be shy to tighten that down. Just don't tighten it to where you're going to break it. And I believe that's done. So there's our hard line that we're going to use right there. I'm going to go into the car and install that, and I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. Okay, so here we are. We're up under the car, and this is our right-hand frame rail that we're looking at, and this is where this fuel line is going to be mounted. Now, on this particular car, it has the factory clips right here that hold the fuel line in place. So we're going to go ahead and snap that in there just like it goes, and you can see right here, that goes there, and then it fits around this section here, just like that. Alright, you can see that I got my hard line installed. Both ends are installed on the hard line. The next thing that we want to do is install our fuel filter onto the hard line. Now, this is a hollow frame, and it is not boxed on all four sides. You can see that it has an opening on the inside of the frame, and we want to mount our fuel filter right here, just like that. And to do that, what we're going to have to do is we are going to have to weld a tab onto the frame rail right here. We'll have to weld that on there so we can go ahead and screw it to the frame rail. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because we have got to have that mounted properly and secure. And then once that's done, we can go ahead and screw our filter onto the hard line, just like you see my hand right there, and then our lines will go ahead and run their way through the frame and all the way back to the tank. Alright, if we look right here, you can see where I welded a tab on there. Now that's a 1/8 inch plate steel. I went ahead and cut a little piece out. I welded it to the frame of the car itself, and then I went ahead and painted it black. So now what we can do is we can take our fuel filter just like this, and I also went ahead and I bent the fuel line out, and then I bent it in. And the reason for that is because of the way this fuel filter sits on here. We don't want to bind up anything, so we want everything to be free fitting and go on very easily without binding any fittings at all. Once we have the filter in place, I went ahead and I took a self-tapping screw just like you see right here. Alright, and it also has an insulated washer on it. And then I went ahead and I started that into the hole that I lined up with the filter itself. If I can get that in there. And then we'll go ahead and take a ratchet and we'll screw that onto the bracket that we welded on. Making sure that that's on there nice and tight, just like so. And then now what we can do to finish the job out, we're going to take an insulated line clamp. Now what this is a clamp that has a plastic or rubber insulation around it. And what that is for two reasons: for vibration and protection. If we don't use an insulated line clamp, what's going to happen it's going to vibrate itself and cut a hole into our fuel line, which we don't want. So I got two different sizes here. I'm going to go ahead and try this one first and see if that'll fit on here. And I see that it's a little bit small, but I think I can make it work. And that's too small. So we'll take that one off and we'll go ahead and get the bigger one, slide it onto our fuel line, and then we will wrap it around right there. And then what I'll do with that, I will take an insulated washer. Do you see it has a washer right there? That's an insulated self-tapping screw, and I'll go ahead and screw that onto the frame. And then what the clamp will do is hold everything in place nice and snug so as not to let it vibrate around and fall out. And you can see how tight everything is now, having it all mounted securely and tight. Go ahead and tighten that up just a little bit. There we go. And now our fuel line is installed. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and start installing the fuel tank. That's going to be a little bit of a situation because we're going to have to modify the floor to make this fucking fuel tank work.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.